Hello guys, I am here because I want to speak about my experience on the narrowboat that I had in London for 2 years, cruising along the canals. I was a cruiser. It means I paid a license at River Trust Canal to move my boat every 2 weeks. I didn't have a place to stay, so I had to move and mooring in new places every 2 weeks. And obviously you need to respect the minimum of miles per year, and I think it was like 21 miles per year. That is not too much in London if you consider how big is the city, but anyway I decided to stay on the west side of London because I was living alone, and it was very difficult for me go through the lock, because when I bought my narrowboat I was in Birmingham and I had to bring the boat cruising from Birmingham to London. It was very hard work. I still remember 9 hours a day I was driving my boat, going through about 300 locks, 2 long tunnels. So when I arrived in London, I decided to stay just on the west side that was going from Little Venice to Uxbridge, to the lock of Uxbridge, and coming back. And is for the nature is a fantastic experience. Also for the other boaters, is good. The people are very nice, kind, ready to help you. I still remember that morning that almost I was losing my narrowboat because I decided to move of about 3-4 meters the boat from where I was, because I was in Alperton, just outside a bridge, and the wind was very strong and my boat was broken. The engine was not working, so I was awaiting the engineer, and I decided to move the boat a bit just for the engineer, so he was not working in the wind. And instead came the wind very strong, and my boat started to go far from the path, and I had the rope, and I said, oh my god, what I do? So I was alone at 8 in the morning, and my boat was going away for the wind, and in that moment came a guy walking on the path at 8 o'clock in the morning. So I started to shout, help, help, and this guy came and helped me, and everything was fine. If for instance your car break on the street, nobody care about you. Instead on the canals the community is very different. Also in London, that is an hard we have an hard life in London. People are not very friendly, but anyway on the canals that is fine. But depends also the type of boat that you have. My boat, the name of my boat was a Summer Place, still around in the canals, and it is a boat built in the 1988, so quite old. So the insulation was not very good, and in winter, even if I have changed the stove, it was very, very cold, especially when I was arriving in the evening. The temperature that was outside I found inside. I found, for instance, the olive oil completely frozen. So you need to be very careful when you buy a boat to consider the type of insulation, and also your life, because if you live all your day on the boat because you work from home, in this case from your boat, there is no problem, because you put continuously wood and coal inside the stove, so you maintain the temperature. But if you arrive like me in the evening after a day at work, I found the boat completely frozen. Even if I had a very good stove, I pay an expensive coal, I had to wait like an hour to have a nice temperature. I arrive, for instance, 2-3 degrees, I need to wait like an hour to have 15 degrees, and then 2 hours to have a decent temperature around 22 degrees, 23. And then remember, in the night the stove is dying, so you need to put the alarm like, I don't know, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and go and put some coal inside the stove, so when you wake up in the morning you don't have any problem, otherwise you find the boat completely frozen. So this is the first problem. Then also for the hot water, depends the type of your boat. My boat was old, so I had hot water only when my engine was running. And also there depends, because sometimes you arrive late in the evening and you can't start the engine because you are sleeping. There are other boats next to you, so, and people are sleeping at 10 p.m. so you can't start the engine, so you are without hot water. And sometimes in winter the water of the canals is frozen, so the engineers advise you not to start the engine because you could damage, so you need to be very, very careful. Another thing, you need always to do the winterizing of your boat, because England is a very cold country, so your boat must be ready for the winter. And if there is ice in the canals, don't travel. Then if you don't have the car, it was my case. I was living half of my life in London, half with my ex-partner, but it was not a kind man, so I had always to think about myself, and I had no car, so if I want to buy wood, coal, everything for my boat, I had to go to the marina. I couldn't go in and shop it and bring all the stuff with the car to my boat. And in London there are not so many marinas, especially in West London. So some of these marinas are not in the center, are quite far, and you need to stay hours to go to the marina and buy some stuff, because the boats are not going very fast. It's around 6 miles per hour. And when you arrive at the marina, you can also have the surprise that the marina is closed that day. So maybe you need to do the pump out, and you can do, because the marina is closed, or you need a cylinder of gas, or coal. So you need to consider all these things. It's true that along the canals there are people that is their work to bring stuff around and sell coal, diesel, everything. But these people are cruising all around the canals of London. So if you are maybe now in Perivale, they are in East London, you need to wait 2-3 days. So all this stuff you need to consider when you buy a boat. Then people think that the boat is cheap. This is not absolutely true. The boat is expensive. You have always to maintain the boat. You have to pay the license. I always advise to become a member of River Rescue Canal. That there is the company that send you an engineer if you have some problem, and don't buy the basic, always try to buy or silver or gold, because an year is very long and the boat can always have a problem. So if you are stuck somewhere, you call the River Rescue, and they try to send you very fast an engineer to help you. They have helped me. They are very brilliant. If I had no River Rescue Canal, I was in trouble. So really, I always advise this. And the boat must always have a blacking every 2 years, because the water is polluted, it's dirty, there is a grass on the boat, so you need to lift the boat out clean and blacking, and this is expensive. Then the gas cylinder, you have to change the gas cylinder, and also them are expensive. Obviously, it's not the cost of the rent in London, but anyway, there are several costs that are, and the boat is not expensive and not cheap how people think. And then there is another big problem, in my view, is the River Trust, that they, in my view, they are really chasing people. I don't know outside London, but in London they were very nasty with me because I remember my boat was broken, and there are not many engineers around London, so I was waiting an engineer to solve my problem, and my boat stay in the mooring near Little Venice 4-5 days more, and they were phoning me, sending me mail, why you don't move the boat? And I say, I can't. If you can, go and move my boat, but I can't move because it's broken, and I am awaiting the engineer. And then they were checking where was the mooring. I was going from Little Venice to Uxbridge, stopping in several places, and then coming back. And they were complaining I was not cruising enough. I am a single woman, and I was living on a narrowboat and mooring in the places where I knew that they were safe in the evening, because when you are alone in the canal, you are alone. So you need always, especially if you are a woman, mooring your boat next to other boaters in safe place. So I was mooring in Perivale, in Northolt, in Alperton, or Little Venice. And they were complaining. They reduced my license from 1 year to 6 months. But then I decided to sell my boat, so I brought the boat to the marina that was thinking and trying to sell my boat. And they were checking. They didn't trust at all my words. They went to the marina twice, 3 times to check if really my boat was there. This is very bad. River Trust really has a sort of behavior towards the boaters in London that is not good. Is not good. Okay, if the boaters are still in the same place, it's not good. But if single women are moving the boat every 2 weeks and try to moor in the same place for their own safety, why they are chasing these women? Honestly, it's not only my problem. I was talking also with other single women with the boat, and they had the same problem. Yeah. Then what else I can say? Yeah, when you live in a narrowboat, you must consider that if you arrive late in the evening or you go out early morning, you are on the path of the canal, so there is no light. There is nothing, it's dark. So you must consider also this if you are brave enough to walk on the path when it's completely dark. I still remember one night I was walking and a little bat came towards me and said, "Oh my God, go away, I had a bat here." But a bat is a bat, but if you meet someone that is a bit strange, can be a problem. So it's not so easy how people think. Then you need to be quite fit, and you need to be strong, because you need to clean the filter, you need to check the oil of the engine, you need to do some DIY, you need to lift a heavy bucket of coal, bring around wood. So this is if you don't live in a marina. In the marina, I can't express my opinion because I was a cruiser. But think about this, because people always say, "Oh, you are living on a narrowboat, very romantic." No, it is not romantic at all. Yeah, in summer it's a bit better. It can be nice, but not romantic. In winter, you need to be very organized, and is not cheap. how people think. So this is my humble opinion. Thank you for listening me. Thank you. Ciao.